All right, today we're diving into something pretty profound. It's a kind of spiritual map of human existence that comes from an ancient Islamic perspective. And the core idea is this: the life we're living right now, it's not the whole story. It's just a single, really important chapter in a much bigger, five-part epic of the soul.
It's a question we've all asked ourselves at some point, right? Is this all of this? Our childhood, our jobs, our relationships, is this the entire show? Or maybe is it just one piece of a much, much larger puzzle?
Well, this framework suggests that what we call life is really just a fraction of our soul's total journey. It's not the entire book, not even close. It's more like one single pivotal chapter. In fact, according to this map, the life that we can see and touch and feel is only 1/5 of our entire existence. Just 1/5. So let's unpack what that really means and explore the other 4/5. Okay, so to really get our heads around this map, we first need to grasp a foundational concept. This idea that reality is basically split into two huge interconnected realms, the world we can see and the one we can't. I mean, this metaphor just puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? Imagine dipping your finger in the ocean. The few drops of water that cling to it, that's our visible world. The entire ocean, that's the vast, unseen reality that surrounds us. And these two realms have names. There's the mulk, that's the physical, sensory world we deal with every single day. And then there's the malakut, the unseen spiritual world of souls and angels, which, believe it or not, makes up the vast, vast majority of all that is. So keeping that distinction in mind, the seen and the unseen, let's actually look at the 5 stages of the soul's journey. This is the core of the whole map. The journey actually begins before we're even born, in what's called the world of spirits. Then comes our current life, number 2, known as the dunya. After death, the soul enters a transitional state called the Barzakh, followed by a final gathering for judgment, and then, finally, an eternal home. Let's just focus on that second stage for a minute, the one we're in right now. It's called the dunya, or the lower world. Now, that's not because it's bad, but because it's the specific arena designed for testing, for choice, and for effort. It's the place where our actions have real, eternal consequences. But what's really interesting is that even this one life, this dunya, has its own internal map, a way of understanding our time here. Yeah, there's this powerful analogy that was used to explain our experience of this life. And it all comes down to a simple drawing in the sand, made up of just 4 key parts. So the first part of the drawing is a box. Pretty simple. This box represents our lifespan. It has boundaries, a beginning and an end, birth and death, that contain our whole worldly existence. Then, running right through the middle of that box is a single line. This line is our journey, our path through life, moving from the start towards our appointed end. Now, cutting across that main line are a bunch of smaller lines. What are they? Well, those are the trials, the challenges, the unexpected twists and turns and struggles that we all run into along the way. But here is the most crucial part of the whole drawing. It's one final line. It starts on our path, but it extends far, far outside the box. And that line represents our hope, our ambitions, our dreams. They always, always reach beyond the physical limits of our actual lifespan. This life is also seen as having its own distinct phases. We start in childhood, a time for play and being cared for. Then we hit youth, the age of energy and struggle. After that, we move into maturity, where we contribute and produce. And finally, we hopefully reach the age of the elder, a time for sharing wisdom. So what happens at the end of this worldly life? Well, according to this map, death isn't an ending at all. It's a transition. It's basically a doorway from our second life into our third. And this third life is called the Barzakh. You can think of it like a waiting period, an interspace between the physical world and the final judgment. And the soul's experience here, whether it's peaceful or not, is said to be a direct reflection of the life it just led in the dunya. But the Barzakh is temporary. It's basically the universe's waiting room for the main event, the 4th and 5th lives, the ultimate gathering for judgment, and the eternal destination that comes after. The 4th life is the day of judgment. This is where all souls are brought forth. Every single action from their time in the dunya is weighed. And each person gets their book of life, a complete record of everything they did. If you get it in your right hand, that signifies success. The left hand, failure.
And that judgment leads directly to the two possible outcomes, the fifth and final life. And it's described less as a physical place and more as a state of being. You have the garden, a state of ultimate closeness and intimacy with the divine, or the fire, a state of ultimate distance and alienation from it.
So, okay, what's the point of this entire map? What does it all mean for us, right here, right now, living in our 1/5 of existence? The real takeaway seems to be that our time on Earth, even though it's short, is incredibly meaningful. It's presented as the one chapter where we have genuine free choice. Our actions here don't just echo into the future. They literally create the reality of the other 4 stages of our existence. It completely reframes your perspective, doesn't it? And it leaves us with one final, pretty powerful question to think about. If your life is just one chapter in a 5-part story, the one chapter that shapes everything to come, how would you write it?